Joining us now, Congressman Louie Gohmert. He serves in the House Judiciary Committee. He was another fiery presence all day long. Watch.
We started this impeachment proceeding about the Russia hoax and the Russia collusion and demanding all these documents about the Russia collusion. And it kept changing. And then it went to bribery and extortion and emoluments and all these other things. Never in history has a president been accused of crimes with the target constantly changing. This is outrageous, and it needs to come to an end.
So they're settled on abuse of power and obstruction of Congress, and we'll see if we get a vote in committee tonight. Stepping out to help us out and explain what's going on from the inside out, Congressman Louie Gohmert. Congressman Gohmert, how would you describe what's been going on for the last 2 days?
It's an animal farm. It's insane. It's just so outrageous. I mean, I've sat through some really bad trials as a judge, but this exceeds anything I've ever had to sit through. It is such an outrage. And, it's so ironic, too. They don't have a crime. They've had to drop every single crime that they've alleged. They've got nothing now other than they basically have offended the majority in Congress. They've abused power. He has abused power. But like Turley said, it's a Congress that's abusing power. But how ironic that today that Joe Biden would say if he were subpoenaed to the Congress or the Senate, he would defy it. He wouldn't do it. Well, that's what this mob is trying to kick out Trump from the White House. And we just took up an amendment that Jim Jordan had filed. It said, okay, basically you say it was an unfair election in 2016. Let's amend your impeachment articles to say you're not trying to keep him from running again or being elected again. Oh no, they don't want to eliminate that. That's the one that we've just taken up. And it's pretty clear they've been exposed. But can I point out one silver lining here? Because I try to find some silver lining no matter how bad it's been. We've known that this was a swamp. We've known that there were swamp creatures. One of the biggest problems here in Washington is figuring out who's part of the deep state, who are the swamp creatures, and Trump derangement syndrome. And the Germans jerked their head up. These guys have been raising their heads so we could see who needs to be fired, who needs to be out of the swamp.
But Congressman,
and we found
Congressman, a lot of people who weren't watching network television in the 70s and don't remember 1998 when Bill Clinton admitted he lied under oath and admitted he had an affair with an intern. This is different. This president says there's nothing here, and that's where the disagreement is. But you have a lot of moderate Democrats that are not on board with this. You have Congressman Gottheimer says, I haven't made up my mind. Susan Wilder, I haven't made up my mind. Anthony Bridgsey, I haven't made up my mind. Colin Peterson, Alyssa Slotnick, Jeff Van Drew, Max Rose, Tom Suozzi. There's a lot of Democrats who are not on board with this. We've never seen anything like this.
No, I've never seen anything like it. I've heard about witch hunts. I've heard about lynch mobs, but I've never seen something like this, using the congressional system to try to destroy people that have committed no crimes whatsoever. It's incredible to be a part of watching and knowing that we can't win these votes because the majority, it's just almost unbearable.
233 to 197, they have an advantage, and they need 217 to impeach. Nobody wants to get impeached, but poll-wise, they seem to be losing on this. Lastly, Congressman, what are we going to see tonight? A vote in the committee to impeach, and then it goes to the floor when?
Yeah, we don't know for sure, but at some point, we're trying to clean this mess up, and they are at some point going to pull a question, and then we'll have to vote on the question. They have the majority. They'll end debate, and then we'll vote, and you know how they're going to vote. They've all indicated, 17 of them, 16 or 17 voted already last summer to impeach him, and that was back when they were saying it was all about the Russian collusion. So they were ready to impeach him, and that hasn't changed, never mind the facts.
Gotcha. Congressman, bad news. You got to go back in. Thanks for joining us, though. Our audience appreciates the inside story.
Oh, thank you.